Okay, take number 3. Let's try this again. My phone died even while it was plugged up to laptop. That's the thing about laptops is that if my phone's plugged up and like I'm doing something like watching a video or something like that, it still will die. Because for some reason, the laptop doesn't charge nearly as fast as if it's plugged up to the wall. So what I did was I just went and got my extension cord, plugged up the phone to the extension cord. That way I don't have to worry about it because apparently my laptop stinks. It's not very good. Welcome back, everyone. Hey, Abonzo. So, first of all, I just want to say thanks a lot, Boomer. I don't know if you're still watching this or if you have me on split screen again, but thanks a lot because I don't know if you can hear it, but Frozen is playing in the background. So, thank you for that, Boomer. Oh, man, I hate that movie. Oh, wow. Hey, Everyday Visuals. So glad you can make it. Not sure if you saw what happened on the last couple streams, but my phone is a piece of crap. Okay, so let's talk about the cars and everything else. I have a 1950 Dodge Coronet inline 6 with a hydromatic transmission that I need to get running. It needs completely gone through. Yeah, dude, I mean, anything I'd say pre-80s, I'm in love with. I mean, 80s cars, okay, cool. 90s, I can work on them all day long. You know, they're nice to be able to fix up and, you know, get running, pretty much do whatever you want to with an, you know, mid-90s car or whatever. But my wife's dream car is a 57 Chevy Bel Air. It's what, baby blue? Has to be a baby blue. Has to turquoise, whatever, and it needs to be a convertible. She wants the convertible. Some movie that some old 80s, 70s, 80s movie that has that car on it, and it's 90s and it's Earth Angel. I was just corrected. Okay, so that movie has her car in it, and I guess she just fell in love with that car. So, but my all-time, I guess, dream car is a 67 Chevy Bel Air. No, I'm an idiot. 67 Shelby GT 500. Eleanor. Let's just call her Eleanor. She has a name. So, will you bring my energy drink? So, yeah. But as far as the cars that I've owned, let's see if I can start naming them. My first ever was a 94 Ford Ranger, little four-banger, wouldn't go above 70 on the interstate downhill. Single cab, had a camper shell on it. Ended up totaling that. It's still giving me notifications that my battery's low, but it's actually being charged. It's up to 7% now, so we're cool with that. Okay, so Webb, has it been restored? Is it original? Are they trying to sell it? Because there was a guy where we used to live, which isn't too far away from where we live now, but where we used to live, there was a pastor or preacher. I'm not too sure. Hope I don't get murdered on that for getting it wrong, because I don't know what denomination he was, but he had a good many cars. He had a 57 Chevy Bel Air, bright color, and everything, but it had been sitting for who knows how long, but it had never been restored. It was all completely original, and there wasn't very much rust on it at all. So, you know, I asked him if he wanted to sell it. He didn't at the time, but, you know, he said if he did sell it, you know, he said somewhere it was like $27,000 or something like that for a car that, I mean, yeah, it's all original, so you can't find those, you know, but, I mean, it wasn't running. It you know, it'd been sitting for you know, how many years? Probably 50 years, you know, something like that. But, I mean, it looked amazing, you know, because it always been under cover. If I had the money, I would have got it right then and there. What's going on, DK? Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. huge shout out to DK. You know, me and him, we're gonna be collabing a lot. You know, everything. So we have a lot of stuff in store. Check out his channel. I'm trying to help him get some exposure or whatever. Oh well, I'm sorry to hear that, DK. You know, I don't really have beef with anyone. I kind of try to leave, like, you know, all that kind of behind. You know, if someone has a problem or whatever, I just kind of let it just go. I just don't. I don't go around them or whatever. So, you know, all original, 95% complete. Inside is all there, but the upholstery is roached out. My Dodge, I mean, the 57 Chevy looks restored a bit. Very clean. That's awesome. And I bet you they're wanting an arm and a leg for that car too, Webb. I mean, y'all can probably hear my daughter in the background. She's running around making noises. But and Frozen's on in the background, and she's not watching it. Go figure. I mean, whatever. Did you ever... Oh, okay. I thought I was tripping. So yeah, but the cars that I've owned, the first one was that Ford pickup. The first so-called accident I ever had was in that. Oh yeah, I know that, DK. Yeah, we won't get into that here because, you know, I stay way clear of them. You know, whatever. You know, I would never. I don't even want to say that name. You know, because no, they don't even deserve any recognition. So, Nissan Sophia. I'm going to have to look that one up. I'm surprised. I haven't heard of that car. I have not heard of that one. See, and that's the thing, though. Like, as long as there's no rust, it does not matter what the paint job on those cars look like. As long as there is no rust, people know what they're worth. You know, and they're only going to get more valuable. Especially, you know, those 57 cars, the 67 cars, you know, that my wife and I love, that are dream cars, and everything else. You know, so it's like they know what they're worth. They're gonna charge an arm and a leg. Oh, for real, DK? Yeah, I saw that video. I did not know that's what that car was. Is that a car that y'all just have over there? I mean, is it a car that we can get in the U.S.? Because I haven't heard of that car. I'm not sure. But yeah, so the car I had after that was, let's see, I had I forget the year, but it was a Buick Century that was blue. Hey, Ghost Finder, glad you made it back here. Okay, awesome, Ghost Finder, no problem. Okay, DK, I'll definitely have to look that up because I'm not familiar with that car. But then after that Buick that I had, let's see, what did I have? Oh, one of my, you know, funner, that's not even a word, more fun vehicles, I guess, was my Bronco. It was actually my grandfather's. He gave it to me to use while I was in the last little bit of high school, and stuff like that. I saw a 57 Chevy on eBay. Nitrous? No. Nitrous on a 57 Chevy? No! You're ruining the car!
Well, it was in the back with a picture around.
I understand people might want to drag. Don't drag that car. Don't take that car to the drag strip. Pick another car. It's too beautiful to mess up. You know, that was my wife said she found that on eBay or something like that. It's a dream boat. I slobber when I drive, but I won't waste anyone's time asking for a price. Yeah. Well, okay. See, I'm so shocked, DK, because it's made by Nissan. No. Like the same people make Nissan Skyline. I mean, wow. I mean, I love Nissan Skylines. That's another dream car of mine. So no, don't, Miracle, don't open that. That's mommy stuff. Don't open that. So yeah, after the Bronco, I had, what did I have? After the Bronco, I think I had that truck that I had when I met you. It was a 99 Ford Ranger sports truck with the step side bed and everything else. Now, okay, everyday visuals. I love those cars. My last job I had, there was a couple people that went out and bought those. Like, it was a group of guys that were all like friends or whatever, and they like each of them got the exact same car. One was like blue, red, one was black or whatever. And they were amazing. I think they're 6 speeds, really fast. Factory. Off the line. And they're really fast. Yeah, me too, DK. Me too. In love with that Skyline. But yeah, I love those Golf wagons, Volkswagen Golf wagons. I mean, they're amazing cars. So yeah, one of my favorite cars probably that I have owned, I guess that I had, a lot of fun with was that Bronco. But then also my 99. No. Yeah, Michelle, funny story. My phone cut out because someone had called me even though I had it on Do Not Disturb. So I did another live stream. Then my phone decides that it's about to die, so I plug it up to my laptop so that it won't kill the stream, and my laptop doesn't charge it fast enough and my phone dies. Anyways, so, I mean, I'm back though, and we're talking about cars. So yeah, then I had a 99 Ford Ranger, that it was, had dual exhaust. I mean, it was nice. It was only the 3.0, it wasn't the 4.0 engine. But, I mean, I still love that car. It was extended cab. I had 2 12s in a clear box that I, put LEDs in. What does she want? You just want to open it? There you go. No problem. So yeah, I mean, I love that car. It was nice. I actually ended up, one of the systems I ended up selling the system on the way to go meet my wife the first time we met. It's on the way down to Atlanta. Yeah, no. So I had like talked to seen a guy online or whatever, and messaged him, and we were talking online for a couple weeks through MySpace of all places. And I lost my train of thought. Hold on. So yeah, on the way there, I met the guy. He bought my system that I had in my truck. I think it was about halfway there. So I had enough money to, go down, spend some time with her, meter, everything else. We met, and, I mean, right away kind of just, hit it off. I think we went to, like, one of her friends' parties or whatever. I don't eat sausage. I don't eat sausage. No, I don't eat sausage. I mean, sometimes I'll eat sausage gravy, but it kills me. I'll have heartburn for, like, days. Or acid reflux for, like, days. No. I've never really eaten sausage. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, we met, and that's where it all started. Hey, Boomer. Okay, here you are, Boomer. Now that you're here, I want to say this again. Thank you very much, Boomer. Guess what my daughter's watching now? Because of you. And I have you to thank. Oh, Boomer. What am I going to do with you? I don't think y'all can hear it. I think it's turned down a little bit now. Y'all probably hear the water in the background, but yeah, so I have to hear that in the background thanks to Boomer. It's been a stressful day today. We have, since 11 a.m., it's now 5:15, so we just turned back on. Oh, wow, man, I'm not sure if you're male or female or whatever, every day, so sorry about that, but I hate when that happens. We have storms, and we're pretty good about not losing power, but when that hurricane came through, my parents lost power for a couple hours. We've had some problems where our AC unit or whatever will, go out on the fritz, and we'll go hours, and then it's in the middle of the summer, and here in South Carolina, I mean, okay, cool every day. Okay, I don't feel so bad now. But yeah, like it went out on the fritz, and then it gets like 90 degrees in the house. So what? You turn your air conditioner. Okay, Boomer. Let it go, Boomer. But yeah, we'll turn our air conditioner back on at like 5 in the afternoon. It's 90 degrees in here. It takes till like 1 in the morning to cool the house back down. I hate that crap. And that's why I hate the heat. A lot of people say, they hate the cold. They want to go down to Florida for, vacation or retirement or whatever. But not me. Like, I want to go live in Maine. My my grandfather is from Maine, and I mean, he said in order for them to go to school, they had to. This might just be one of the stories. You know how grandparents are, but oh, is it always cold in the UK? But yeah, he used to tell us all the time. I'd have to crawl up on the roof and dig my way out just so I could go to school because the snow would be up past the roof. So, I don't know. Well, did you still have grease on it though, on the pan? It might just be the leftover grease or whatever. All right, so, but yeah, I want to move to Maine. I love snow. We don't really get snow here. I mean, if we see any snow during the winter, it's like a small little flurry, and it's usually in the middle of the night where you can't even enjoy it. Now, what was it, 3 or maybe 4 years ago, at the last place where we lived, we had about 6 inches of snow. Doesn't sound like much to people that are up north, it doesn't sound, but to South Carolina, 6 inches of snow is a lot. And the problem here is that, it'll snow, but then everything freezes, So, like, it'll snow, and then that night everything freezes, it's all ice, and then the trees ice up, trees fall. The last place where we lived, we were like, it was probably like maybe a quarter of a mile, half a mile back in the woods. So you go down this long sand driveway, and then there's a turn, like kind of a sharp turn at the end, and then you go back even further, and then there's 3 houses, and our landlord that we had at the time owned all 3 houses, and we were in the middle house or whatever, and we had probably about 2 acres of land right there that was, it was all like downhill, like we lived on a down, kind of like a down slope or whatever, but it was pretty much all cleared out. We had a few trees, but the funny thing is that, I'll get back to my cars in a minute because this is going to bring it up too, but I went out and bought, right before the snowstorm or whatever, I went out and bought a 96, I think. It's a 96 Chevy Silverado, but it was not a Chevy Silverado like now. This was a Chevy C1500 or C something like that, with the Silverado trim. This was like before Silverado was a option of like truck, like a model of truck. Okay. I went and bought that truck. Now, it wasn't 4-wheel drive. It was rear-wheel drive, like all trucks or whatever, or like most trucks that aren't 4-wheel drive or whatever. And that truck would not move out of the driveway. We were sitting on a hill, but it was all ice. So, of course, it would have slid down, but it just sinks into the snow or whatever. There's no weight on the back of the truck, right? So, at the time, I had like 4 cars at the time. I also had a 99 Sebring convertible. That 99 Sebring convertible, I get in it, I crank it up, I go to drive, that thing drives all the way out the driveway. Because it's front wheel drive and all the weight's on the front, right? So I have a truck that can't get out of the driveway. I have a little, like, car that's, almost sitting on the ground because the Sebrings are pretty low cars, and it made it all the way out the driveway. 6 inches of snow and everything. Crazy! Boomer! Boomer! Come on, Boomer! Why? Okay, let me get some of these comments. Yeah, every day. I mean, I live in the U.S., so it's kind of hard for me to really explain differences or anything like that. Because, like anywhere, when you live somewhere, you kind of take it for granted of the differences between like living in the U.S. and living overseas. And a lot of people don't give that credit that you do kind of take it for granted. So, I would say U.S. is amazing. What's going on, Mo Man? Glad you made it. It's been an interesting morning for us here. Yeah, I don't like front-wheel drive either, DK. I really don't. But, when it came to that, I had that truck. I had that Sebring. I also had a Buick Regal Grand Sport Edition. Love that car. I mean, I absolutely love that car. It was my dad's car, and he sold it to me. And, I mean, it had heated seats. It had a supercharger in it. Had the little boost gauge in it. I mean, I absolutely love that car. Looked like a grandma's car. But, man, would it fly. It had the 3800 series engine in it. I mean, man, I love that car. And like when I go to look for my next car or whatever, because we will need to get a car pretty soon, because I don't want to always rely on a car that has 380,000 miles on it. I probably will, look at the, I think it was a 2002 that we had. I probably will look at another 02 Buick Regal Grand Sport Edition. Got to be Grand Sport Edition. I did have a Buick LeSabre. It was mid-90s. That car was really luxurious back in the day. And it's a very smooth ride, very nice, but it just didn't have the kick, the get up and go like I like, I did enjoy that car though. And then we also, around that same time when it snowed and we had those other 3 cars, we also had went and got a 2010, was it 2010? Lancer, Mitsubishi Lancer. That was a cool car, very slow, and the transmission was a CVT transmission, so you couldn't do anything to the car. If you boosted the car, if you even tried to, put it on the dyno or do anything with the computer, you'd fry the transmission. So we didn't do it. We couldn't do anything with that. Moman, they came out with the new Buick Regal. I thought they had stopped around the. I don't know. I thought they stopped with the Buick Regals. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know. 2JZ engine. Yeah, that's an amazing engine. But every time I hear that name, 2JZ engine, I think of course, the movie Fast and the Furious, right? Hey, Miracle, you're being loud. You're being loud, and Mommy doesn't need any help being loud. And you just get louder. Okay, so kids. So so basically, every time I hear 2JZ engine, I was middle school when that first movie came out. I think it was 2001. So I was in middle school, and when I first heard that, I was young and dumb. I didn't know what in the world was going on. I didn't know what anything was. They said 2JZ engine. I thought they meant 2 engines in the same car. Yeah. Yeah, you can give me crap for that. But, so every time I hear 2JZ engine, it brings me back to when I was young and dumb and actually thought they meant there was 2 engines in the car. What actually would be cool, and I've seen a car that has 2 engines in it, and it's quad boosted, I think is what it is. No, don't touch the laptop, Miracle. No. So yeah, that car I saw with 2 engines, and it had 4 turbos on it. That was a pretty sick car too. But yeah. So where was I? R32s to me are one of the best ones. I think DK. As far as looks to me, I like the look of it. See, they might have Moman. I didn't know. I think 2000. I thought. This is just what I thought. I thought 2015 might have been the last year. I could be wrong, because I haven't really paid attention to the newer Buicks. Because Buick knows what their cars are worth. Buick charges, a good bit for their cars. But they might be coming out, or came out with a new one again and started up producing them. My dad's actually going to be getting a Tesla pretty soon. I don't know much about that car. I just know it is all electric car. But this car is the fastest electric car out there. Plus, you can go on YouTube and look up a video of the video where this guy actually guts out a Tesla, and he upgraded the batteries. Yeah, DK, you have to upgrade the batteries. You have to upgrade everything in it. They won't last that long on those batteries unless you upgrade. I don't know the specifics. I used to when my dad was first starting to look at them, but I think within next year he's going to be getting a Tesla. I think the M3, if I'm not mistaken, not the SUV Tesla, but the other one that's the higher end Tesla. But if I remember what he said correctly, those cars are on you have to get on a waiting list to get a Tesla, one of those Tesla cars. So I mean, he's still looking around and stuff, but he's planning on getting one also. And let's see, where was I? Okay, so I had those cars. I ended up trading the truck for I traded the truck for a 96 Mitsubishi Lance. Was it Lancer? No. What was the purple car? Eclipse. Yeah, there we go. Mitsubishi Eclipse. So I traded it for a 96 Mitsubishi Eclipse. It had the 420 engine in it. Worst engine they ever put in there. It was not pretty. But I ended up the rings in that car started to go. It was blowing white smoke out the back. So I ended up trading that car for a 91 Honda CRX. I'm not really that big of a Honda guy. They're cool to, fix up and build really cheap and everything else. But I love that CRX because it was like a hatchback and it was gutted and swapped and everything else. With me in that car, I think it weighed like 1,600 pounds. Very light car. It had a B20B engine in it, going to a GSR tranny with a boiler exhaust system on it. I want to say it was a P78 ECU, or P78 jumper to an ECU. I'm not sure about that part. But yeah, it looked like utter crap. People offered me $500 for that car because that's how bad it looked. I was going to paint it, so I stripped most of it down. Come to find out, it had like 6 paint jobs on it, and people just painted over everything. So I ended up starting to strip it down, said forget it, and it was kind of like a sleeper car because people saw that it was all it looked messed up with having different paint colors. People, it looked like someone just stripped the paint off, which I did. But I pull up at a light, and this is back in, 2014? 2015? Something like that? 2014. I pull up next to a Mustang GT, and off the line, I pull off on them every single time. And people would they get so mad. Yeah, the boiler exhaust was loud. Okay, Charlie. Let's see. Did I miss something, Charlie? Yeah, I saw that you said it looks like a Benz. Did I miss one of your questions? Oh, I didn't see that one. You had a 200 Pontiac Bonneville sedan with 200. Now that's a good bit of horsepower for that car. The Bonnevilles are nice cars. Yeah, I apologize. I didn't see that, Charlie. I'm not a big Charger fan. I'm just not that big of a Charger fan. The old Chargers. I love the old Chargers. But they say they tried to go back and remake some of the cars to look like some of the older cars and everything. But I'm just not... I don't know. I'd rather get... Yes, Boomer. I'm talking cars. With me, it's either cars or computers,
Let it go in the background.
Yeah, with Let It Go in the background. That song is on. Anyways, Boomer. So yeah. After that, I had traded the CRX. Yeah, I was saying I pull off on like all the Mustangs. It was 0 to 60. I think when I timed it, was at 5 point something seconds, 5 seconds flat, something like that. So yeah, then I traded that for a 89 Nissan Mighty Max, little truck that was on air. It was bagged, laid frame. That was a fun truck to drive, but it was a project. A lot of people love hydraulics on cars or airbags on cars, and it's really fun to drive. But if you get an older one and you put bags on it, it is nothing but a project. Wow, Boomer. Oh, Boomer, what am I going to do with you? Man. Yeah, so I got the bag truck. The only reason I traded the CRX is because I had to kickstart it every time. I lived on a hill, so it was no problem starting it, popping the clutch and starting it. Boomer, I am going to buy you that movie and send it to your house, okay? And oh, I love the old Bugattis. Hey, Charlie. Welcome back, Charlie. Like I said earlier, I apologize if I missed some of your comments. But yeah. Well, your niece can keep hers, and I will buy you your own, Boomer. And I will make sure that it stays at your house. I will make sure that it goes to your P.O. box or whatever, and then I will make sure that while you're on live stream that you go and put that video on. And you have it playing in the background also. Payback. So yeah, the only reason I traded that is because I had to kickstart it and everything. And I tried to replace the starter. I tried to replace the ignition, everything else. Oh, well, you'll get a P.O. box, Boomer. You'll get one for me. Trust me. Yeah, come to find out, after I traded it for the bag truck, which is cool because I love that bag truck. I have a picture of my daughter sitting in it too. I might put it up on one of the videos. But the guy called me or texted me the following day, and he was with me when I went and got a brand new starter. Tried to, I placed it in the parking lot of Pull Apart, and it didn't work. And then I went and bought a brand new one, and it didn't work. So the next day he texts me and goes, yeah, since the engine was swapped in the CRX, you didn't think that there was a fuse box under there, but they had it on the side. It was the engine bay was tucked, so you couldn't see wires or cords or anything. Come to find out, the fuse box was like under. It was on the side of the firewall, but kind of under where the wheel well was. So I didn't know it was a fuse box. It didn't look like one. He said there was a blown fuse in there. So, yeah, I had ended up spending a couple $100 on starters and ignitions and everything else, and it was just a fuse, go figure. So ever since then, I've always looked. The first thing, if something goes wrong, that I do is I look at fuses. R34 Beta Bugatti. Now, see, okay, the thing is that, yeah, Bugattis are absolutely amazing. They're fast as crap and everything else, but you can do so much to an R34, bro. I mean, there's just... The possibilities are limitless, Yeah, definitely, DK, definitely. Yeah, we're gonna do as soon as I get hangouts. There's a couple people I am gonna do collabs with. Kind of, I guess you could say I was doing a collab with Boomer earlier because he had me on split screen. So that was cool. Yeah, awesome, DK. I'd love to check that out. And I probably haven't said it on this stream. Because we're just pretty much talking about cars, not like the other streams or whatever. But make sure to kind of sub up to everyone, check out everyone's channels, check out their videos, show the support and the love, especially if you're trying to grow your channel. The biggest way to grow your channel is just show support to other people. When people see that you're supporting them, they're going to give you shout outs, they're going to, recognize you when you come in, stuff like that, But yeah, after the bag truck, so I keep switching back and forth, but after the bag truck, I had, what did I have? I traded the bag truck for a Honda Civic. It was a 94 Honda Civic, just like regular model, I guess, XL, I don't know. I only had that car for 2 weeks, the Honda Civic, maybe a little bit less than 2 weeks. And the guy that I traded the bag truck for the Honda Civic, 2 weeks later, texts me and goes, he had a guy that wanted the Honda Civic that he had just traded me, and he had a 93 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Yeah, 92, 93? I think it was 93. Before they switched over to the body styles. It was the older body style. And so I got that car. It had the 4G63 engine. If you get a Mitsubishi Eclipse, make sure it has the 4G63 or 4G64. Mine had the 4G63T engine. It was a turbo engine. The turbo had been deleted. Don't ask me why. I have no clue. Had no hood. It was only, the exhaust was just straight piped. It was the exhaust manifold, to the downpipe. And that was it. It was cut off right there. Sound like a bunch of pissed off pennies, rumbling around in a can. It was awful. But that car was so much fun. It was fast. Thanks, Abonzo. Thanks. Appreciate that. But yeah, I messed that car up. Let's just say that I was going fast for reasons, and I took a, it was probably like a 70-degree corner, 60, 70-degree corner, so it was pretty steep of a corner. I took it at 80 miles an hour, and the front end shifted. Sheared off the lug nuts. I only had 2 lug nuts on one side and 3 lug nuts on the other left. Sheared off the other lug nuts, and yeah, it took me like 45 minutes to go 10 miles home, because when it shifted, it threw me off in the ditch. Now I didn't hit anything; I just went off on the side, kind of down in the ditch a little bit. So I pulled it back up onto the street, and I'm holding the steering wheel, trying to get it out of the ditch and everything, thinking, okay, it's just soft ground, whatever. Get it back on the street. Now when I go to shift, I have my hand on the steering wheel. I shift into second gear, go to take off, and the car goes all the way to the right again. Like, it shoots off to the side of the road. I was like, what the heck? So I go and I like hold the steering wheel. So now I'm sitting here with like both my hands holding the steering wheel. My camera's backwards, but still holding the steering wheel all the way to the left, trying to keep it on the road. And all it wanted to do was turn to the right. I mean, it messed up so much stuff in there. I think the axle it did something with the axle. All of the bushings, everything else was shot. And I don't know if that was from me going off the road. Hey, Angel. Welcome. I've seen you all over the place, so you're kind of a familiar face. Thanks for checking my stream out and coming and subscribing and everything else. I really appreciate it. Yeah, definitely, DK. We need to go to car meets. That would be awesome. Angel, I think you're in Boomer stream also, if I'm not mistaken. And I've seen you in Green Bay and stuff like that too. But yeah, so I don't know if going around that corner too fast and holding the wheel like that is what did it. Because surprisingly, the road was kind of curved a little. It didn't slide around because it was front wheel drive, so it didn't slide around. Stuck to the road, but then when I came around the corner, it just went off of the road. I mean, going 80 miles an hour, and it was all like kind of in a flash. It's kind of like blurry of how everything happened because it happened so fast. But needless to say, I was in front of the other car, so thanks, Boomer. Love you too, brother. Definitely, DK. So Angel, the thing is with like mods, I have to do that like on my laptop, and my laptops are messed up right now. So it might be a while before I get around to like adding mods and stuff like that. And usually like there's a few people that I'll make mods that I've kind of talked to personally. Maybe chatted with on the phone or stuff like that. Hey, Lenny. Yeah, I know Lenny. Thanks for coming over here. That's awesome. Thank you, Boomer. That's awesome. Thank you, Boomer. So glad that, Boomer's, helped out. I mean, I was kind of on a hiatus or whatever you want to call it. I was MIA for like 3 weeks and came back and started doing everything. So now that I'm kind of back in the groove of things, I hadn't talked to Boomer in like 3 weeks and, a bunch of stuff just going on. Life gets in the way sometimes. So I'm back at it now. And yeah, I appreciate all the views. I appreciate everyone coming over, showing the support. I did a couple of streams earlier. The first stream that I started with this morning, all the streams kept getting cut off. It is what it is. But that first stream, go back and watch it. I think it's like just under 30 minutes long. Watch that because we do talk about getting subs and channels and everything else. Hey, M. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you came and stopped by. So yeah, but yeah, with that car that I had, it sat in the yard for a while until I actually had a guy come over and he kind of fixed up the front end, got it, driving right. But then, it sat for so long that all these other problems started. So here's where you got to be very careful, guys. And I made a mistake, and it'll never happen again. And you just steer away from Craigslist unless you know what you're doing. But I had a guy that lives not too far away, came to the house, and traded me a SUV. It was a Explorer or something like that. And it was at nighttime. It was raining. No lights. I live in the country. We don't have lights, you know. So I traded him because it was an SUV. It was lowered a little bit. It seemed cool. Yeah, I traded him that Eclipse, which was a couple $1,000s in that car. Car was worth, you know, some money or whatever. Get up the following morning. I go out. I open up this SUV. No headliner, right? In the nighttime, it wasn't lights inside the car. It's hard to see. You know, it looked fine. No headliner. The sunroof was glued shut. The steering wheel, top part where it curves and the bottom part where it curves was cut off to look like a racing steering wheel, I guess. I guess it's the hillbilly way of cutting a steering wheel. I don't know. The car was lowered with blocks and what's the thing with the keys underneath it in the front? And one of the bolts for the lowering was sheared off and kind of like welded to it, so I couldn't raise it back up. Yeah, I ended up selling that SUV for like $250. So yeah, it did at Bonzo. It really did. I mean, one, never trade in the dark. Two, never trade when it's raining. And three, never bring people to your house. Always meet them. And especially if you do Craigslist. Tell these people you will meet them at the sheriff's office to do whatever trading or whatever. If they say no, don't do business with them, right? You know, if you mention the sheriff's office for trading or doing anything and they tell you no, there's something wrong, you know? Let me catch up on a few comments. Yeah, thanks for coming over. Boomer was doing the split screen, so I knew a few of those people saw my stream from there, and it kept getting cut off and everything else. Yes, definitely, Abonzo. Meet them in public in the daytime. I've met in the Walmart parking lot because there is a lot of people. There's cameras. People aren't really going to do too much in the Walmart parking lot. But if you know, no one's going to do anything in the parking lot of the sheriff's office. Come on. I mean, now I never said that criminals are smart, you know, but I would think most of them would be at least smart enough not to commit a crime in the sheriff's office parking lot. You know, so because I don't know if you guys knew or if you guys have heard, and I think it was just like one state over. I think it was like North Carolina, maybe somewhere. But there was a guy that had, I think he had posted something about a car, or he was looking for a car. I'm not sure which one it is, but he met a couple to get they had posted the car, so he met a couple, said he wanted to buy their car. They came to like his area or whatever. They met. And I guess it was in a kind of rural part of town. He ends up killing both people and taking the car, you know. And this was off of Craigslist, you know. So please, guys, please just don't deal with Craigslist. Or if you do deal with Craigslist, because I do a lot of stuff on Craigslist. I have a lot of ads and stuff on Craigslist. The Xbox 360s are posted on Craigslist right now. If you do anything, meet in the sheriff's office parking lot or meet somewhere where it's absolutely packed with people. You know, maybe not a bunch of people around you because things do happen in crowds too. But go eat. Mommy's calling you. Mommy's calling you. So, you know, just be smart about it. You know, a lot of stuff has happened through Craigslist. A lot of stuff has happened online. And you know, the world is kind of messed up nowadays, guys. You know, just kind of keep your eye out for scams on Craigslist. I would say probably it's pretty bad. 75% of the stuff on Craigslist is scams. You know, it's just, and yeah, you know, a lot of people, they hate hearing stuff like that, Abonzo, but I kind of wanted to bring awareness to it too, you know. I just, you know, some people are like, oh, well, you know, Craigslist is fine, you just got to be smart, which is true. And, you know, oh, Craigslist is this, Craigslist is that, and everything else. But, you know, sometimes it takes kind of like that horror story. Yeah. Lenny, the sheriff's office here said the same thing. That's where I got the idea from, is that the sheriff's office had like a commercial or whatever. And they didn't necessarily say Craigslist. They just say if you're dealing with anyone online that you have not met face-to-face and that you don't know, feel free to use our parking lot to do any kind of trading or any kind of business from hand-to-hand trade-offs, you know? Yeah, me too, Alonzo. Yeah, and it was closer to home with the last one I heard, so, you know, I think it was a couple hours away, just over in the other state. So, yeah, you know, it's just, you just got to be careful. And even if, you know, someone's not necessarily like a criminal or trying to harm you, sometimes people trade stuff and they aren't always honest. You know, so many times people will try to trade stuff. They won't be completely upfront and honest. And it's just because they want to get the money for it. They're not necessarily like bad people. They're just out for themselves, you know, which I guess kind of makes them bad. But I mean, they're not, you know, they're not anything like, you know, murders or anything like that. But yeah, you know, just be careful with that. So I don't know how. Oh yeah, with the Craigslist trading for the SUV. So I traded that for the SUV, and then ended up selling the SUV because I got pulled over. And I've only been pulled over a couple times in my life, but I only had one ticket, and that was when we were moving into this place a few years back. And I did not slow down at a speed limit sign in time. They say that if you're going like 55 when you hit the 35 speed limit sign, you have to be going 35 miles an hour by the time you reach that sign, right? So I reached the sign, and no. I reached the sign, and I was going like 50 miles an hour. I hadn't got all the way down to 35 yet. So I got pulled over because I was not at 35 when I hit the sign. So I got a ticket for that. Other than that, there's only one other time, and that was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I got pulled over in that SUV that was kind of messed up for not wearing a seatbelt, and I was almost home, and I still had temp tags on it. You know, I hadn't switched my address over on my license, a bunch of stuff, right? So I ended up with like a $300 ticket, you know, and couldn't pay that and this and that. And, you know, he ended up letting me drive home, which was amazing. So he took all my information, took all my paperwork, took everything from me, still let me drive home because I wasn't too far away. But ever since that, you know, I've been kind of, you know, skeptical of driving around and, you know, trading cars and stuff like that. Just because some cars do draw a lot of attention to cops. Red cars, red is like and people say, oh, it's just a myth. No. Red cars, like, mentally, I guess, stick out. Like, you know, if you see a bunch of cars, the red car is going to stick out more. So it does bring more attention to you, you know. So red cars are more likely to... No, don't play with that. Can you go put it back? You're going to hurt your foot because that's pointed at the bottom. So, yeah. So, I mean, I've had quite a few red cars and everything, but I would suggest, you know, maybe trying to steer away from that color car just because, I mean, it does bring more attention to you. But after that SUV, I sold that SUV, and I ended up getting a... what was it? A 2002... what was that SUV called, Elise? Rodeo. 2002 Rodeo. And, I mean, that was a pretty good SUV. It was a pretty good car to drive around and everything. Had a lot of room. But it was just older. Let me see here. Girlfriend wanted to meet someone to buy an iPhone. I told her I had to be there not to. Yeah, definitely, Alonzo. Now, we just went... it was through Facebook, but she had someone that had a VCR that she wanted to get for like $10. And, you know, I went with her. Like, you know, I wouldn't have her go meet anyone by herself. Even if she was talking to a female, if she hasn't talked to him for long enough to feel comfortable, I always go with her. So, you know, it's just kind of one of those things. Oh, wow. Now, I did get messed over with the iPhone just like that. I had ended up buying an iPhone off of Craigslist, and it was, what do they call it? It was blacklisted or whatever. The IEMI or IEI, whatever it is. That little thing, it was blocked saying that it was either lost or stolen. So, yeah, I lost out on that money. My car is a shimmer green for that reason. Yeah. So, and my daughter is going to be crying because my wife just took the thing away from her. Oh, she was hitting the TV with it. Him says, I gotta protect the wifey. Yeah, red cars are more likely to get into accidents too because it causes people to look at the color. Yeah, well, and that's another thing. Like, I love the, and I'm sure Abonzo and DK, if he's still in here, I'm sure they would probably say the same thing with a lot of cars that they've dealt with and everything. But I love the candy, the candy apple red type or any candied color. I love those colors on cars. They're absolutely amazing. Even the pearlescent colors. But let me tell you, they will draw so much attention to you that it ain't even funny. You know, it's kind of, you know, it's like a double-edged sword. You want a car that looks really nice, and those colors look amazing, but they are going to bring more attention from cops to you. They're going to bring more attention to you as far as, you know, driving around and getting in accidents. I mean, what do people do? When you see an accident, what do people do? They slow down. More accidents happen. What do people do when they see just a cop sitting on the side of the road? They all look, and they aren't paying attention to what's in front of them, you know? And, I mean, most accidents are pretty much caused by distracted driving, you know? You know, of course, there are all the other, you know, exceptions and everything else. But, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if someone isn't distracted, an accident wouldn't happen, you know? Either someone's falling too close or, you know, someone slams on their brakes because they weren't paying attention, then it causes the person behind them to hit them. And then all of a sudden, it's the person behind them's fault because they rear-ended them, even though the person, you know, slammed on the brakes to where they didn't give the person behind them much chance. If that makes any sense. So, yeah, you know, yeah, after that, I had, let's see, there's so many cars I've had, you know. Oh, I traded the Rodeo for, I keep looking at my camera, my phone, not my camera. But I traded the Rodeo for a 2001 Mitsubishi Eclipse GT that was bored 30 over. Yeah, exactly, Abonzo. Never follow that close. My son does that all the time, Eric. I could take a piece of dirt from him. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Alfonso, you know, even with people that aren't following too close, sometimes they can't help it, you know, and that's why, you know, you always gotta pay attention to like 4 or 5 steps ahead of you. You know, basically saying you gotta pay attention to 4 or 5 cars ahead of you, what they're doing, even though they're far away from you. There might be a bunch of space. You know, always be paying attention to it. And a lot of problems are caused when people get complacent. They're on their way home from work. They're exhausted. They're on autopilot type thing because, you know, they go that way every day. And, you know, that's if you get home and you don't even remember how you got home. Like, you don't remember the trip. It was just caught all a blur. And you're just like, oh, well, that was quick. You know, wasn't really paying attention. That's when you start getting complacent. So you got to be careful that you're actually paying attention. You know, because no matter how good of a driver you are, there are a lot of bad, you know, idiot drivers out there. And you could get in an accident due to no, you know, fault of your own. Hey, Mr. Dave. Glad you came. I'll probably end up getting off here soon. Been on here for a few hours, so. Well, with between 3 streams. But thanks for coming, man. We're talking about cars right now, all the cars I've had. I pretty much spent an hour explaining all the cars I've had. That's how many I've had. So, yeah. But after, let's see, I got the Eclipse that was bored 30 over. And then I traded, what did I trade that for? Oh, I traded that for a lifted 89 pickup, Nissan pickup. That was the name of the truck, Nissan pickup. It was 89. I think it had a 3-inch lift, had, I think, 33-inch tires on it, had a CB radio, had a intercom system in it. It was pretty cool. It was old. It was a little 5-speed 4-banger. You know, but I mean, it was nice. It's just, it was just kind of, I couldn't really do anything with it as far as like the family. You know, it was too much for my wife to kind of get in and out of there. You know, I didn't really feel comfortable with my kids being in the front seat because of the airbags. I don't even know if it had airbags in the passenger side because it was 89. But I still just I don't feel comfortable with a car seat being in the front seat because it was only a single cab. You know, and I don't know. It might just be my kind of, like, protection type thing, just, kicking in. But I even shut off my phone. Yeah. The thing is, you do have to be very attentive here too because of the deer and all. But that's why I love driving my Bronco. It had a brush guard with a 9,000-pound winch on the front. You could hit a deer going 40 miles an hour. It ain't going to do anything. That Bronco has taken on many and many deer. Datsun 510. Wow. I'll have to look that up because I don't really remember what they look like. I know of the car. I just don't really remember what they look like. A Silverado and a 2013. Whoa, Abonzo. You got a WRX? Bruh, those cars are amazing. And 2013? Those cars are absolutely amazing, man. Aren't those boosted from the factory? Like, they come from the factory boosted? 6-speed? Now, was the 2013 WRX, was that the 4-door or 2-door? I think it was a 2-door, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that was... Yeah, it was all-wheel drive. Yeah, I remember it being all-wheel drive. But I think when I tried to look for the WRX, I had a hard time finding one that was 4-door. Because I think a lot of them are mainly just 2 doors, aren't they? Yeah, that's another car I've kind of always wanted. I've heard they're a lot of fun. And I've heard there's a lot of stuff you can do to them. They say they do amazing on dyno. So yeah. Let's see. What is there anything left? We had the. I sold the truck and ended up getting the 2010. It was the last one to have a hatchback. Yeah. I kind of like the ones that were their sedans. I did like the hatchbacks and all. Don't get me wrong. But I kind of like the regular sedan ones. Oh, awesome, Asian. I won't be on here too much longer, but you got that work over there, and man, you need to come here and cook up some food here. Asian's a chef. And I'm not going to bother trying to say what kind of chef he is because I'll get it wrong. I know I'll get it wrong. But, yeah, amazing. But, yeah, yours was a 4-door. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was looking for a 4-door. Also, the only other reason that I hesitated with the WRX is my wife doesn't know how to drive a 5-speed. I told her when I had my CRX, I was like, look, drive it in the yard. We live in the woods, just learn how to drive it, whatever. But she won't do it. Yeah. I thought it might, Alfonso. I thought it might come from the factory with a turbo. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of amazing WRXs out there that people have done. A lot of things too. Yeah, they are all stick shift. I love manual cars. I don't like automatics. But I kind of have to get automatics now and stuff, so my wife can drive them also to her appointments and everything else. But yeah, so I think we had that. Then we got the 2010 Hyundai Elantra touring wagon, whatever you want to call it. Okay, no problem, Lenny. Appreciate you stopping by. And yeah, you have so much more control over a manual. Abonzo, automatic, you can only do so much. With a manual car, if someone goes to slam on their brakes, I can throw it into a lower gear, pull the e-brake, then let go of the e-brake so it starts to slide, left, but it'll still stop because you're in a lower gear. You can't do all that crap with an automatic. You can't get out of, tight situations with an automatic. You have a gas and a brake, you know what I'm saying? And by the time you go to yank down on the column shifter down to first or second gear to, wind down the transmission or whatever, you're done. You just don't have time. The reaction time for a manual, for me, I have so much better reaction with a manual. Plus, you can have so much more fun in a manual. You can swing any manual car. Well, kind of. It's easier to swing the rear-wheel drives. But, I would take a manual car any day of the week. And my thing is, a lot of the higher end cars are all pretty much manual. I mean, they do have automatics, but a lot of people get the higher end cars that are 5 speeds or 6 speeds. Well, 6 speeds. Higher end cars are pretty much always 6 speeds, I think. But yes, you have so much more control. Yeah, Angel. I love old cars too. I don't know if you were in here earlier, but I was telling everyone my dream car is a '67 Shelby GT 500, and my wife's dream car is a '57 Chevy Bel Air. Those are like our two dream cars, and we'll have it. We're gonna get them one day. Trust me, we'll have them. Even if I have to fix it up, if I find one that's junked in the junkyard and they want $500 for it because it's so trash, I don't care. I'll get it and I'll fix it up for years. It's just how I am. Now I don't know everything about cars. I'm not a mechanic, anything like that. Only reason I know the little bit that I know is because I refuse to pay someone $85, $90. Well, now it's above $100 per hour on labor. Oh, no problem, M. But yeah, I refuse to pay over $100 for labor on something I can do for myself. I can do myself. I'm gonna get a Mazda V8 6-speed for fake 4K for my first car, but they wouldn't sell it to me or my dad. Oh wow. The Mazdas are nice. There is one that we used to absolutely love. It's not that big of a deal to us anymore. What was it? It was a hatchback car. Protege, Mazda Protege 5. I think, is that what it was? Protege 5. We were trying to get one, and it was, we loved that car. Now I'm just kind of like, whatever, just because it does look cool, but it's not really my first go-to car of what I want to get, 40s to 60s. Yep. And my grandfather, I don't really talk to him too much or whatever, but my mom's dad, he has, I'll probably get this wrong, he has Model A's and Model T's. I'm pretty sure he has 2 Model T's and 1 Model A. It might be the other way around. No. I think he has 2 Model T's, 1 Model A. The Model A is, restored. Well, it was. I don't know if it's ran in a while. But it was restored and driving and everything else. The Model Ts, which I'm pretty sure the Model Ts is like the old wagon cars with the wooden spoke wheels and everything else. Because I think the Model A was a little more fashionable or whatever. But I actually was able to ride in that Model A when I was like a teenager. We went to Seattle. And, yeah. Yeah. Asian, come on. You got to get it when you're younger and enjoy it, man. You get older and you're not as crazy. You get older and you respect yourself too much, so you ain't going to do crazy crap with it. You got to get it when you're younger, and just, go wild in it. Miracle's being bad. Thank you, M. Thank you. But yeah, that's pretty much all my cars. Took over an hour. It took just over an hour to explain everything. So Asian. Yeah, I can see you being crazy till you die, Asian. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, guys. Be sure to the very first stream. I think it was just under 30 minutes. Go ahead and check that one out on how to get subscribers, active subscribers, the right way, and go ahead and check that out. And definitely try to check out the video I edited and posted, and give me your honest feedback. If you have some constructive criticism or tell me about how the lighting is bad, because I know it's bad. So yeah, give me some feedback on that. It's like a 13-minute video on how I got Xbox 360 consoles for free. And some of the stuff we cooked for Thanksgiving. So, let's see. All right, Abonzo. Appreciate you coming. Yeah, definitely, M. I'll make sure that I make it to there. I am pretty busy sometimes, but I should be there. You too, Asian. Have an awesome day. Thanks, Abonzo. Hope to see everyone back soon. Y'all take it easy. Enjoy your Friday. And I'll probably be streaming either this afternoon or tomorrow morning again. So hopefully I'll see everyone there. Later.